There is a game being played all around you, and the people winning it are not talking about it. Not because the rules are complicated, not because the strategy is difficult to understand, but because the moment they explain it to you, they lose it. I have been watching this game for a long time, long enough to see the patterns, long enough to understand why some people build quietly and others spend their whole lives loud and broke, long enough to know that the most important financial decisions most people will ever make have almost nothing to do with money. They have to do with silence. The wolf does not explain its hunting strategy to the sheep. The deep river makes less noise than the shallow stream. And the man who has truly built something real, something that will outlast him, he is almost always the quietest person in the room. I grew up in a house where money was not discussed at the dinner table, not because we did not have it, not because we did, but because my grandfather understood something that took me the better part of my life to fully absorb. He used to sit in his chair by the front window every evening, the same chair, the same window, watching the street. And one night when I was perhaps 9 or 10 years old, I asked him why he never talked about what he owned, what he earned, what he had built. He did not look away from the window. He said, because the wolf that announces its prey always goes hungry. I did not understand it then. I understand it now. What I'm going to share with you today are 5 things the genuinely wealthy never tell anyone, not out of arrogance, not out of secrecy for its own sake, but because they have learned, some of them the hard way, that certain knowledge shared is wealth surrendered, every single time. These are not tips. Tips are things you read and forget by Thursday. These are structural truths, the kind that once you see them, you cannot unsee, the kind that compound quietly over a lifetime into something the loud and the obvious never managed to build. 5 rules. Let us begin. There is a moment that happens to almost everyone who comes into money for the first time. Real money, enough to matter, and the moment goes like this. You find out, you feel it. The number lands in your account, or the deal closes, or the letter arrives, and for approximately 48 hours you carry it alone, quietly, and it feels extraordinary. Not just the money, the privacy of it. The clean, uncontaminated feeling of knowing something no one else knows. And then the pressure starts, not from outside, from inside. From every instinct you have been trained since childhood to act on, share good news, celebrate. Let the people you love know that things are going well. Tell someone, just one person, just a little. And the moment you do, something changes that you will not be able to name for months. The first rule of stealth wealth is this. The number is never shared, not the range, not the approximate, not a hint dropped at a family dinner or a figure mentioned in passing to a trusted friend. The number stays inside, always, without exception. Here is why this matters beyond the obvious. When people do not know your number, you are a peer. You split the bill. You laugh about prices. You complain about interest rates together. The relationship is built on equality, and that equality is the foundation of everything genuine in it. The moment they know, everything reinterprets itself. Every economy you practice becomes a choice, not a necessity. Every time you say you cannot afford something, they hear a decision, and they resent it quietly. Every loan you decline becomes a statement about your values. Every holiday gift becomes evidence examined against what they now know you are capable of. You do not lose their respect all at once. You lose it one small moment at a time, in ways neither of you can fully see or name. And it goes far beyond relationships. There is a principle in economics called information asymmetry. It states that in any transaction, the party with more information wins. Every contractor, every car dealer, every service provider you will ever negotiate with is doing a rapid, unconscious calculation the moment you walk through the door. They are reading your shoes, your watch, your car in the parking lot, the way you phrase your first question. The wealthy understand this, so they dress plainly, they drive sensibly, they ask questions rather than make statements. They give nothing away. Because the moment a seller knows what you can afford, the price of everything you need becomes what you can afford. I know a man who built one of the most successful small businesses in his city over 30 years. He could have retired at 50 and lived comfortably for the rest of his life. His neighbors thought he managed a warehouse. His mechanic thought he was on a pension. The contractors who maintained his properties charged him the same they charged everyone else on the street because no one knew to charge him differently. That was not an accident. That was decades of discipline. Quiet, consistent, compounding discipline. The number is the first lock. Seal it completely. The world does not need to know. And the less it knows, the better you are able to move through it. Now, the second rule is the one that kills more potential than any bad investment I have ever seen. And it is the one that feels the most innocent when you are committing it, because it comes wrapped in excitement, in hope, in the natural human need to share something that feels too good to carry alone. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You have a plan, a real one. Something that has been forming in the back of your mind for months and has finally come together into something clear, something possible, something that genuinely excites you at a cellular level. And you tell someone close, someone whose opinion matters to you, and they respond warmly, enthusiastically even. And you go home feeling seen and supported. And 3 months later, you have not started. This is not a coincidence. This is psychology. Researchers at New York University studied this exact phenomenon, and what they found was precise and uncomfortable. When we announce an intention, the brain registers the social acknowledgement as partial completion of the goal itself. The identity reward, the feeling of being seen as someone who does a certain kind of thing, arrives before any actual work is done. And the hunger that was supposed to carry you through the difficulty, the rejection, the long, uncertain middle of any real plan is spent before the journey begins. The second rule of stealth wealth is this: never announce a move before it is made. Not the investment, not the business, not the property you are considering, the career you are leaving, the negotiation you are entering. The plan lives inside until it is complete. Then and only then does it become something you speak about. Because there is a second dimension to this that is darker than the psychology. The moment you announce your strategy, you hand it to every person who might benefit from blocking it. Not out of malice, out of competition. Competition is the oldest human behavior there is. Your colleague who you told about the promotion you are pursuing is not your enemy, but he is also talented, and now he knows your intentions, and knowing changes how he moves. Your relative who you told about the property you are planning to buy will mention it to someone who will mention it to someone. And by the time you arrive at the negotiation, you have already lost a dimension of leverage you did not know you had. A plan spoken too early is a plan weakened. Every single time. There is a particular kind of discipline required here because the instinct to share is genuinely strong. But I want you to replace it with something better. Replace the announcement with the result. Do not tell people what you are building. Let them walk into it when it is finished. The conversation when it is done is infinitely more powerful than the conversation when it is planned. Results are the only language no one can argue with. Results are the only language no one can argue with. Let your life speak after the fact. Stay silent in the planning. Let the silence do its work. The third rule is the one most relevant to this particular moment in history. And I say that because we are living in a time that has made the violation of this rule not just common but celebrated. Rewarded even, and the cost is invisible until it is catastrophic. The third rule of stealth wealth is this: your edge is the last thing you share. Your edge, your specific insight, your particular method, the approach that is quietly working for you that no one else in your circle has discovered yet. That edge is not just an asset, it is your most perishable asset, more vulnerable than cash, more fragile than any stock position, because it can be destroyed in a single conversation. There is a principle in financial markets called alpha. Alpha is the return you generate above what the market itself generates. It is your advantage over the average. And there is one guaranteed way to convert alpha into ordinary returns. Share it publicly. The moment enough people know your strategy, the advantage disappears. You have not lost skill. You have simply given away the scarcity that made the skill valuable. This was true in markets long before the internet. It is devastating in the age of content. I have watched genuinely intelligent people discover something real, a niche, a method, a positioning that is quietly building them something significant, and then teach it, post it, build a following around explaining it. And they wonder, sometimes sincerely, why it stops working. It stops working because you told the world. You created your own competition. You took the thing that made you different and made it common. Here is the framework I want you to hold on to. Anyone offering you a detailed map to a gold mine is either lost themselves or the mine is already empty. Because if the mine were full, they would be digging, not drawing maps. If the mine were full, they would be digging, not drawing maps. Guard what is working. Let people attribute your results to luck. Let them think you stumbled into it, that you were simply in the right place, that fortune favored you without reason. Let them debate your luck while you quietly compound your advantage. The silence around what works is itself part of what makes it keep working. The fourth rule is the most difficult one I will ask you to consider today, because it does not involve strangers or competitors or contractors. It involves your children. And the instinct you will have to override is one of the most powerful instincts a human being can feel. The instinct to protect them. The instinct to give them certainty. The instinct to let them know that no matter what happens, they will be taken care of. The fourth rule of stealth wealth is this: do not let your children know what is coming. I want to tell you about a woman I knew for many years, a physician who had spent 3 decades building a quiet and disciplined financial life. 2 properties, a well-managed portfolio, a life insurance structure that would have left her children genuinely comfortable. And when her eldest turned 30, out of love, out of a desire for transparency, out of the genuine belief that knowledge is kindness, she sat her children down and explained the picture clearly. Within 18 months, the eldest had left a career he had been building seriously for 6 years. Not dramatically, not recklessly. He simply stopped straining. The urgency left him. The edge that had been driving his choices softened, and with it went the trajectory. She had not given him money. She had given him the knowledge that money was coming. And that knowledge had done what certainty always does to human ambition. It had quieted it. The deepest engine of human effort is not desire, it is uncertainty. The belief that what you do today changes what tomorrow looks like. The moment you remove that uncertainty completely, you remove the engine. Not all of it, not right away. But slowly, steadily, the way a slow leak empties a tire, the vehicle still looks fine, until it does not. There is a version of this I believe in entirely. Leave your children enough that they feel they can do anything, but not so much that they feel they need do nothing. And the only way to hold that balance precisely is to keep the number sealed until the very last possible moment. There is a second reason for this wall. Inherited expectation, money known in advance, does not bring families together. It quietly reorganizes them around the anticipation of what is coming. Every gathering carries a low hum of calculation beneath the warmth. Every act of care toward the aging parent carries the shadow of potential strategy. Siblings who loved each other plainly and simply begin to see each other through a different lens. One none of them would choose, but all of them have been given by the knowledge of what is at stake. I have watched families fracture over wills that had not yet been executed when the silence between them began. Do not give them the number. Give them your character. Give them your example. Give them the understanding that effort is how a life is built and that no one is exempt from that truth, not even the children of the careful. Character is the only inheritance the taxman cannot touch, and it is built in the uncertainty, never in the comfort of knowing. The fifth rule is the one I find most revealing, because it is not about protecting your money at all. It has nothing to do with numbers or strategies or negotiations. It is about protecting something that, once traded away, takes years to rebuild. It is about protecting your integrity from the performance of your own goodness. We live in an era that has transformed generosity into content, a donation made, a cause supported, a meal paid forward, kindness extended to a stranger in a difficult moment, all of it photographed, captioned, uploaded, distributed to an audience assembled for the precise purpose of witnessing the best version of a life being performed. And I want to be careful here because the impulse behind this is not cynical. People are genuinely moved by what they give. They want to share that feeling. They want others to feel it too. They want the act to matter beyond the moment. But there is a cost that almost no one calculates. The fifth rule of stealth wealth is this: do the good thing and tell no one. When you need the applause, the act is no longer entirely yours. You have traded a piece of the genuine thing for something that depreciates the moment the notification disappears. The social reward arrives. It feels like the fulfillment of the act. And slowly, invisibly, the habit of goodness becomes the habit of performing goodness, which is a different thing entirely. My grandfather called this the difference between building equity and spending it. When you do something good privately, it becomes part of you. It compounds in ways that have nothing to do with reputation or recognition. It builds a kind of interior steadiness, a confidence that has no anxiety in it because it has nothing to prove and no audience to maintain. When you perform it, you spend it. You get the recognition. The recognition feels good, and then it is gone, and the next act of goodness needs to be performed as well, a little louder, a little more publicly, because the baseline has shifted and ordinary private goodness no longer satisfies the appetite it created. There is also a dimension of this that is purely strategic in the financial sense. The moment you show the world your generosity at scale, you have shown them your capacity. Every person who witnessed the donation, every organization that received your name on a gift, every community that knows you as the one who stepped forward, they are not calculating how to give back to you. They are calculating how to return to you with the next ask, and the next, because the world does not reward demonstrated generosity with restraint. It rewards it with escalating requests. Give quietly. Give generously. Build what my grandfather understood as the inner account, the one that no one can see, no one can audit, no one can make a claim against. The one that belongs entirely to you. The invisible deed is the only act of goodness that stays whole. I want to come back to where we began. There is a game being played all around you, and the people winning it are not talking about it. They are not talking about what they have. They are not announcing what they are building. They are not broadcasting their strategy or performing their virtue or explaining to their children exactly what is coming. They are simply moving, quietly, deliberately, with the particular confidence of people who do not need the world to confirm what they already know. 5 rules. Never share the number, because the moment they know it, every relationship you value reorganizes around it in ways that cannot be undone. Never announce the move before it is made, because the hunger that drives you through the difficult months is finite, and a dinner conversation can spend it entirely. Guard the edge ferociously, because the advantage you have found is the most perishable thing you own, and the moment it becomes common knowledge, it becomes worthless. Keep the inheritance wall intact, because what your children do not know will build them in ways that what they do know never could. And character is the only inheritance that cannot be taxed or taken or divided among competing claims. Do the good thing in silence, because the invisible deed is the only one that stays whole, the only one that belongs entirely and permanently to you. The wolf does not explain its hunting strategy to the sheep. The deep river makes less noise than the shallow stream. And the man who has truly built something real, something that will outlast him, he is almost always the quietest person in the room, not because he has nothing to say, because he has already built something worth protecting. Seal the vault. Let your results be the only noise you make. The world will find out soon enough.